We continue our discussion on the challenges faced by the ANC KZN provincial branches and leadership after its elective conference was halted by an urgent court interdict this past Friday. Staying with us this morning, we've got Professor Tinyiko Maluleke from Pretoria and Sihle Zikalala. He's in our Durban studios. Gentlemen, again, thank you very much for staying with us during this conversation. Sihle, I just want to bring up an important issue and an issue that arose over the weekend. And again, these are media reports and some of them suggesting that it was former President Jacob Zuma who allegedly sunk a settlement deal between the opposing factions in the province and actually instructed you to withdraw from the settlement deal. Can you talk to us about these allegations?
Well, I have responded to that and I said that is fallacy because I have not had a meeting with President Zuma, with former President Zuma in the last couples of weeks, and I've been clear on that. And we are working for unity. We are working for an integrated leadership for KwaZulu-Natal. We were going to emerge, I believe, with a more inclusive leadership than what we had post-2015. Former President Zuma is not part of the discussion on issues of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, and he has not participated in any leadership discussion.
Okay. However, if we go back to the actual meeting, and we go back to the time where ANC National Chairperson Gwede Mantashe was interrupted, we heard a lot of the delegates who were singing songs praising former President Jacob Zuma. Clearly, he does still have a lot of influence within KZN, but how much influence does he actually have?
Well, I would not want to say how much actual influence he has. Members of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal respect him as a member of the ANC and a former leader of the ANC. But we all know that we have the leadership of the ANC. We've got one president elected at Nazareth at the 54th National Conference, and that president is President Cyril Ramaphosa. We've got a collective of the officials and the NEC. Those are the leaders of the ANC. When it comes to people who lead the ANC, who have the authority to speak on behalf of the ANC, those are leaders who lead, and those are leaders we support. As members of the ANC in the province, we are working for the success of the ANC. Yeah. I would want to appreciate what Professor Maluleke have said, that the ANC has an urgent task of restoring unity and stability, not only for itself, but for the country and our society as a whole.
Yeah. You know, it appears, obviously, that when you speak, Comrade Zikalala, they do stop. And this was also said by the delegates do stop. They have a lot of respect for you. But it seems that the respect doesn't go as far as the national leadership within the ANC. And a lot of people are saying that there is no respect. And the KZN branches of the ANC do not listen to what national ANC actually say and do not respect the decisions. Again, let's get your response to this.
Yes, and that's what we have been saying, that some of the national leaders are becoming the victim or victims of association. There are a number of leaders who have been crisscrossing the province, making wrong pronunciation, divisive statements. And all of that comes together as if it represents the national leadership. Clearly, I will want to affirm that comrades in KwaZulu-Natal have no problem with Comrade Gwede Mantashe, the national chairperson of the ANC. But the problem are some of the leaders, mostly from KwaZulu-Natal, who are NEC members, who have been around crisscrossing the province, making divisive statements. And that's why we have said to them, it is time that we confront these issues together, sit down and deal with them.
Prof, I'm going to bring you in here. It certainly appears that there are huge issues going on in KZN, and this, of course, are going to have massive repercussions for the general elections that are coming up next year. There's a lot that needs to be sorted out within that province and within other provinces as well, but particularly within KZN. You know, what needs to be done to bring about peace and unity within the ANC branch of KZN?
Well, it's difficult to say. I think a lot needs to be done. It all starts with leadership. I was encouraged when Mr. Zikalala started off by apologizing for what happened, and it sounded like he was committing himself to working towards real unity in that province. I think leadership have a lot of responsibility in that province. And I'm not just talking about leaders like himself, but also leaders at the branch level. Because it seems to me that the solution must come from KZN. It will not be brought to KZN either by national leadership or by anyone. And perhaps the hour has come for people like Mr. Zikalala to show that leadership that he was hinting at the beginning of this conversation that we are having.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I think that there will have to be consequences for ill discipline within the ANC in that province. It seems to me that sometimes there are people who just do and say what they feel, regardless of the consequences in that province.
Right.
But you can't have a province as big as KZN leaderless for as long as it has been. When I say leaderless, I'm talking about the formal structures of the party.
Yeah. All right, Prof, I'm going to leave it there with you. Thank you very much for talking to us, Professor Tinyiko Maluleke. And then just finally, Sihle Zikalala, on a closing note from you, whatever happened to that supposed peace settlement or a deal that was brought about by ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa within the province?
Well, I wouldn't want to say there was a deal brought by Cyril Ramaphosa, but President is leading a process of uniting the ANC. He has been meeting with us as leadership, and I think we must appreciate his support, and we will all of us commit to ensure that we restore unity. His leadership, he has demonstrated the leadership at a national level of ensuring that we learn that we must be inclusive and do not work as factions. And I think we will follow from those steps and from his assistance, because he has been engaging with us as the provincial task team, emphasizing and impressing that we must work together, we must find a solution on problems, and also highlighting the need for KwaZulu-Natal to get united as soon as possible and move toward the campaign for the 2019 general elections. We believe that we are committing, and we will have to work for that.
Let's leave it there for this morning. Sihle Zikalala, thank you very, very much for talking to us here on Morning Live. ANC KwaZulu-Natal coordinator there in KZN.